Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us for the 11th session for our first ever 55 and Better Expo series. So my name is Lindsay Haynes. I am the event manager with Prairie Mountain Media, and I will be the moderator for today's panel session. So today we're going to start with Anna Von Dreele. She is the care manager with Columbine Health Systems, and she will be covering continuum of care. So everything from patio homes to assisted living and to memory care as well. And then we'll transition and we will hear from Holly Smith. She's the community director for Affinity at Loveland, and she'll be covering active adult living and living your own lifestyle. So because we have two presenters today, I did want to go ahead and point out that we will have an active Q&A session and a chat box that will be live and ready for you the entire duration of today's presentations. So if you are on a tablet, a computer, or even a mobile device, all you have to do is just check the very bottom of your Zoom screen and you'll see that Q&A. So if at any point during either Anna or Holly's presentations, if you have any questions, make sure to jot them down, just because we'll start with Anna, transition to Holly, and then we'll finish with those questions and answers that you have. So with that being said, I will go ahead and turn it over to Anna. She'll get started, and we'll look forward to having an active question and answer portion here at the end.
Hi, this is Anna Von Dreele, and thank you very much. Give me just a minute. I'm going to get my presentation up here and get it going, hopefully. There we go. So thank you. Originally, Yvonne Myers, who is Columbine's Health Systems Director, was scheduled to present today, but unfortunately she is ill. So I'm sorry though that you've missed her, because she's a very dynamic speaker, and I hope that I can do a tenth of a job that she normally does. So thank you for having me, and thanks to the Loveland Herald and Tribune, and thank you all for participating today in this panel and hearing our presentations. We hope that we can provide you with information and resources on the continuum of care and also supportive services that are available in our communities. So first of all, just if I can take a moment to give a little bit of history, because senior living in Northern Colorado has been around for a very, very long time, and Columbine's been a piece of that for 50 years now. This is our 50th year. And Bob Wilson started the company with Columbine Care Center East in Fort Collins. And so for 50 years, we've been helping to hopefully take care of residents who can have this wonderful smile on their face. That is our goal and our mission, as well as all the other companies in Northern Colorado, so that anyone that's living in senior living can look like Mr. Stan here, who lives at one of our independent livings. So first, we'll start on the ground level, I should say, and then work our way up to higher skilled levels of care. So patio homes, and Columbine has two different locations of patio homes, one in Windsor and one in Fort Collins. But patio homes can be rented or purchased, and they are truly still, people are truly still independent. But the reason they may move into a patio home is to reduce their burden of maintenance, possibly to have people of their own age living in the same area. So for the socialization of having common people of their age and interests. Also, sometimes they are connected to like an independent facility where they can then take advantage of if they want to go to the restaurant at the facility and have meals, or sometimes there's activities offered that they can participate in. So it's kind of like the first stepping stone for someone that may be moving in that direction of having more supportive services. And then I will go to, and these are just examples of Columbine's, sorry, let me go back. So the next level would be independent living. And this is, again, a step up because you would move from more of a home to an apartment generally. And you're in more of a community setting as far as you're living in one building, like an apartment building together. And again, you may move into these types of situations because you want to reduce your day-to-day burden of making meals, sometimes there's transportation offered so that you don't want to have to drive everywhere. They also, again, may have some activities that you can participate in, and again, get that socialization aspect that you may be missing or don't have the opportunities in living in your own home. So that would be what an independent living is. And these are just examples of what Columbine has to offer. So then assisted living. Assisted living is kind of that next step when you need more skilled care. And there's something called activities of daily living. And these are what you do every day to take care of yourself as a person. So dressing, bathing, grooming, hygiene, toileting, and just being able to move around. So how you're ambulating. And activities of daily living, when you go to assisted living, that's usually when you need more assistance with those types of activities. And so they have staff available 24/7. They can either be personal care providers or certified nursing assistants. And these are designated, you go through certification programs to be able to qualify for these types of positions. And these are people that are available at any time to help you with those types of activities. The other big piece that they do is medication management. And they will then manage your medications. So they will store them, they will offer them to you as they are ordered from your physician. So when you get to that point where it's a struggle to manage that, then they have that possibility to help you as well. Again, you're living in apartments, various sizes, everything from like a studio to a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, depending on the facility and what they have available for you. It's frequently that sometimes couples live together in assisted living. And so that you can maintain, obviously your spouse and you can live together. So that's assisted living. And again, those are a couple options for Columbine. And then the highest level of care is skilled nursing facilities. And these are facilities that have 24/7 nursing available. So not just that certified nursing assistant, but also licensed nurse is available 24/7. So when you get to that point where you are in need of that medical oversight more so 24/7, then that's when skilled nursing facilities would probably be an option for you. And these are also, piece of them can also be, not only are they for long-term care or what we used to call nursing home, but also they can be for rehab. So for instance, if you go to the hospital for whatever reason, you have a surgery, you've had some sort of medical change, and you're not quite ready to go home yet, you also can go to one of these facilities and they have rehabilitation services. This would include therapy, the nursing support, as well as what they offer for everybody who lives there, whether you're there for short or long term, is there's activities, there is meals are provided, so that you have all of that support. So if you're there for rehab, hopefully you then can go home. You get strong enough to be able to go home. Again, every facility is different as far as how the rooms are set up. There's private, there's semi-private. Also, and this is also true with assisted living, you also may have memory care units. And these are for people that have dementia, and dementia can be for a variety of reasons. but they also provide that memory unit for that dementia care, to provide that higher staff to resident ratio to provide better care for those that have that special need of dementia care. And the other piece that skilled nursing can provide is sometimes facilities have providers on staff as well, whether it's a nurse practitioner and or physicians. So it allows the resident to not have to go out for all these different appointments, but at least for their primary care, they can receive that type of care in the facility. And that's skilled level of care. And again, some examples of Columbines. And then I want to talk about therapy, whether it's in-home care or whether it's outpatient therapy. And these are services that are covered by insurance, whether it's Medicare, Medicare Advantage plans. And when I say therapy, I'm sorry, I mean physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, and also that includes, sorry, hold on, let me get back to it. It includes, also it can include like a social worker to help with any kind of resources, helping with insurance questions. And also it can include a certified nursing assistant to come into the home if you're needing that support with like showering and bathing. And usually there is a qualifying factor, since it's covered under insurance, it's usually a qualifying factor. And that can be, it needs to be qualified by a physician. A physician needs to determine that someone needs skilled services, and there's a definition under Medicare. And also for in-home therapy or skilled services, you would also need to be what they call homebound. That is a designation by Medicare that if you're receiving services in your home and not taking advantage of outpatient services, that probably means that for whatever reason you are homebound. So that's why Medicare requires that the homebound status be part of if you're receiving those services in the home. If you are not homebound, then you can take advantage of the outpatient therapy services. Medical equipment. So this is everything from walkers, wheelchairs, canes, any kind of assistive devices that are in the bathroom. So a toilet riser, shower chairs. Also, it can include things like lymphedema products, mastectomy products, incontinence products. And there are many, many options of medical equipment that we have. Some of them are going to, whichever one that you are probably using may be determined by your insurance and what providers are covered by your insurance. So that's going to be something very important to check out to make sure that whichever medical equipment company you use is covered by your insurance. So that's medical equipment. And then the other kind of in-home supportive services are non-medical care providers. And these are like, these are people that can come in and they don't provide skilled level of care. So as I was talking about earlier, in-home therapies or skilled services are like physical therapy, occupational therapy, nursing, speech therapy, bathing assistance. And these would be people that come in that are there to, maybe they're helping you dress, maybe they're helping you clean your home, maybe they're helping to assist with meals. With medications, they can cue you to take your medications. They cannot set up medications or give them physically to you, but they can cue you to do that. They can run errands, shopping. They can take you out into the community. So when it does open up, if you can go to the senior center, if you need someone to help you get there, they can do that for you. And they're usually hourly, and they're available 24/7. So that's non-medical care providers. And I will say, as a care manager, I work a lot with people who want to stay in their home as long as possible, to be as independent as long as possible. And that's absolutely something you want to encourage. Having in-home care providers can help do that as long as possible, to not avoid, but maybe postpone that going up to that next level of care. And so that's something to consider. They are private pay, so there is going to be that cost that's associated, but they are a means to try to stay in your home as long as possible. So thank you very much, and I look forward to any questions, and also looking forward to hearing Holly's presentation.
Hello, everybody. Let's see. So I want to make sure that I am up and going here. All right, so I am going to get my presentation here. Sorry, I'm a little behind here. If I could get this going. All right, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and start. So thank you everybody for joining today. Again, my name is Holly. I am the community director at Affinity at Loveland. We are a 55 and over apartment community. We provide really just an apartment community environment for anybody that's 55 and over. So it doesn't really involve any of the care or anything like that. Kind of like Anna was talking about, those would be kind of the transition levels from us. But really, if you're starting to contemplate, retirement, downsizing, a change in your environment, your plans for the future can often become scary and maybe even feel uncertain. We often hear from people coming into our community, sharing the concern that making a change is scary for them because right now they know what's comfortable. And we totally understand that. We know that change can be scary, but embracing the aging in place and right-sizing your home can really take some of that burden off of trying to determine really what's next at this chapter in your life. So active adult living is really gaining popularity in today's society. And so that's kind of what I want to spend some time shedding light on, because it's really an amazing concept. So what we'll kind of cover really is what is active adult living, when is the right time to move if you're looking to make that change. Really, I want to kind of dive into what is the difference between active adult living and independent living, because a lot of times people might think that they're the same. And while independent living is a lot like active adult living, there are some major differences that I want to make sure we cover. And then why do you want to choose active adult living? So those are some of the things that we're going to cover today. So what is active adult living? And the answer is truly in the name. So active adult housing refers to either an age-targeted or an age-restricted community, usually designed for people aged 55 or 62 and older. So for example, our specific community is 55 and over. There are some that increase that age to 62. So this type of housing most often offers maintenance-free living. So what that means is, no mowing, no snow removal. If you have an appliance that goes down, it's just a simple phone call to have maintenance come and fix that. And then also the ability to really lock up your apartment and leave. So if you decide you want to book a spontaneous weekend getaway, or you want to go visit your family out of state for the holidays, you can really rest assured that your apartment is locked up, it's safe, and you don't have to find a house sitter. You don't have to have someone come by and make sure things are still good, because that's really what's included with our community. There's also numerous social opportunities and really the freedom to be able to do what you want with no strings attached. So while living in your home, obviously you still get to do that, but a lot of people assume that once they move to quote unquote senior living, a lot of things are taken away from them, but that's really not what active adult living is about. It's really continuing to pursue your passions and do what you want to do. So most of the time, what's included in these living arrangements, there's different things that different places will include. But for example, a lot of times utilities, so gas, water, electric, sewer, trash, cable, Wi-Fi, all of that's going to be included in the monthly rent of the apartment. And really what's nice about that is you know exactly what you're going to be paying every month, and you don't have to worry about any fluctuating bills. So if you think about staying at home, you know, your gas bills, your electric bills, your water bills, those are all going to fluctuate possibly every month. But living in an active adult community, those are going to maintain, be the same every month and be maintained. Many places will also offer different types of amenity spaces. So you might get a pool, a fitness center, a game room, a library. There's tons of different options when it comes to what they might offer. And then some places even will throw in some parking. So that might be a deal as well. Active adult living really offers people the opportunity to keep their independence and to maintain an active lifestyle. So really, ultimately, what we want our residents here in our community is to age in place. So we all know that as things change and we get older, more assistance might be needed. And at that point, you know, one of the options that Anna was talking about might be needed, but there's also the opportunities for residents to bring these services into this type of community as well. So while active adult communities don't actually provide the services, they don't do meal preps, transportation, personal care, those are options that residents can bring in to utilize on their own. It's usually a cheaper route than up and moving to somewhere that does provide those services in-house. And so it's a nice option for people to be able to use so that they can truly age in place in an active adult environment. And then there's different types of 55 plus options. So this can include apartments, townhomes, mobile parks, and even just different retirement housing communities, patio homes, actual houses that are built in areas for 55 and over. But it's important to know what each of these different options includes and what might be additional. So for example, you know, townhomes may impose a hefty HOA fee, or they might have stipulations that they say they're going to shovel the snow on your sidewalk, but they might not do that until there's at least 3 inches or more of snow. So just kind of some different things. You know, mobile home parks can implement their own random fees that they can increase at any time. So it's really just important to ask those questions of what's included and what are you willing to continue to do if specific things that you're assuming are included are actually not. And then kind of talk about when is the right time to move. So obviously none of us have all the answers, and that right time might mean something different for everyone. But when it comes to apartment living, many people that come through our doors are homeowners. And oftentimes we hear that people are concerned about selling their home and they don't want to make a move until they're sure that it's going to sell. And we definitely understand that, but statistics have shown that homes sell faster when they're actually not lived in. So according to the Real Estate Staging Association, homes that are staged or that are not lived in and are kept clean and decluttered sold 73% faster than a house that was lived in and not decluttered and staged. So plus there might even be a path of least resistance for real estate agents. And what that means is, you know, if they have 20 houses to show and 10 of them have people living in them, those 10 they have to call, they have to set up times to show. Whereas with the other 10, they may just have a lockbox that they can go to at any time to open it. So I know it sounds bad, but if they don't want to worry about scheduling those times, just out of convenience, they might go to the ones that are just staged. And then not to mention living in a house that you're trying to sell means keeping it clean, making it look like no one's living in it. And you know, where do you go at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. when you get that phone call saying that you know, that there's been a showing scheduled to accommodate for those working people that don't really have the flexible schedules, getting the calls, giving you an hour notice, letting you know someone's going to be coming. So really, it's just kind of the convenience piece as well. And the process of selling your home is definitely a complicated one, but that stress can really be relieved when you do find, you know, that new place to call home and not really have to worry about the hassle of all the extra stuff. And then when thinking about selling your home, it's important to really assess if your home is even functioning for whatever stage you're at in your life. So, you know, if your home has stairs that are becoming increasingly difficult to climb every day, or if you really need, you know, do you need the extra 3 bedrooms for just you or you and your spouse? We all know what a pain the upkeep of a house can be as far as landscaping and snow removal, appliance repair, all those other handyman things that can pop up. Whether you do that for yourself or you have to hire the people to come in to do that, it can actually relieve a lot of stress to get rid of that. And then let's be honest, who really likes to clean? So all that, those extra rooms that you never use or that no one goes into, having to keep things in tip-top shape, just, getting rid of that can really reduce a lot of that stress. And then how much of the space are you actually truly utilizing? So if you really think about it, most of us on a daily basis will use the living room, the bathroom, the kitchen, the bedroom. In fact, you could probably even just walk through your house and really see the pattern in the carpets of where you go. So why not experience the convenience of having everything you need in closer proximity, especially as you age and mobility may become an issue. And then a big question to really ask yourself is, what is keeping you in your home? So if it's the memories, those will never leave you no matter where you're living. So think of it as an opportunity to create new memories in a new place. Is it because your home is paid off? So depending on the age of a home, you can pretty much count on maintenance costing anywhere from 1% to 4% a year. So an example of that, if you have a home that you've been living in for 30 years and the net worth is $330,000, at 4%, that maintenance cost would be a little over $13,000. Thinking, gardener, plumber, electrician, snow removal. It's been found that the average utility cost per month is about $110 for electricity, $72 for gas, $70 for water, $14 for garbage and recycling, $85 for cable, and $60 for internet. So that's about an extra $400 a month. With the $4,800 per year, everything adding up with the maintenance cost is about $18,000 per year. So in other words, you're still technically paying to live at your paid off home. And you really just need to weigh what you're getting out of your home at that time, and if it's really still functional for you. There's also always the option of renting out your home and moving to something more suited to your wants or needs, and not technically really still getting rid of your home if that's something that you can do. And then honestly, you may not want to sell your home because you truly don't know what your options are. And there are a lot, but active adult living is really a great option for people looking to let go of owning a home, but still have the freedom of living the life that you want to live. So kind of talking about the difference between active adult living and independent living. Because again, we get a lot of people coming into our community thinking that we're independent living and that we're going to offer some of those services that we don't truly offer. So kind of want to dive into how these are different. So in today's society, there's obviously, numerous senior living options like Anna discussed, the independent living, assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing. The list really truly does go on. So a question that we get is, how are we different? And a big piece of this is the services. So as Anna was saying, independent living communities most often provide those meal services. It may not be 3 meals per day. So possible light housekeeping, transportation, really structured social events, wellness programs, security services, and then some even do some sort of level of personal care or assistance. Where active adult differences from that, they usually don't provide these services and expect the residents to manage these things on their own or set up these services to come in and assist them. And really the financial piece is usually a pretty substantial difference. So because active adult living doesn't provide these services and independent living is that higher level of care, there's usually that cost associated with that level. So what this means is that if you're paying for the meals and housekeeping at independent living that you don't really need, it's always good to evaluate, is that a good option for you? Active adult living really allows for residents to customize their needs at a more affordable price. And another difference really is the environment. So according to the panel survey of income dynamics, the average age in independent living is about 80, possibly a little bit higher. And with active adult living starting at 55, it can be a little bit lower. And then the independent living usually will provide more of kind of a structured environment, including staff that designs and implements those social activities, as well as possibilities of 24/7 staff. And when it comes to the social activities in active adult living, residents really design and execute those on their own. They might still have someone that's there to kind of assist with that, but usually it's the residents that really kind of take charge and do all of that. So how do you know what you need? So with all the options out there, it's really important to ask yourself, what do I need, or what am I seeking? Is it socialization? Is it safety? Is it a sense of community? Do I just have too much space and it's time to downsize? There's really a lot of questions that you can ask yourself, but you want to be honest with yourself, and it's okay to acknowledge that you're lonely. So if you just want to be around people, if your spouse just recently passed away, just be honest with yourself. So according to the US Census Bureau, 28% of people 65 and over live alone, and senior isolation contributes to cognitive decline and risk of dementia. So really it is better to be around people. Some of the most amazing experiences that we've had in our community is family members or friends coming in and saying how much of a change they've seen in their loved one just from being around other people. So if you're having trouble deciding what you want to do, it's really important to talk with a neutral party. Most often we hear from people touring that their kids think they need to move, or there's even times that they don't want to tell their kids because they don't think that they're going to support them in a move. So we understand family is super important, but they may not always have your best interests in mind because they think that they might know what's better. So talk with that neutral party, whether it's a doctor, a friend, a neighbor, and it is important to have a good support system so that you don't feel like you're alone in the decisions that you're making. And also super important to ask questions. I honestly cannot stress that enough. Adult living is still somewhat of a new concept, and it's not something that a lot of people know a lot about. So it really goes back to those answers of what's important to you and what you want or what you need. So do research when you go visit these communities. You may not have a list of questions, but honestly, just ask, what do most people ask, or what do most people want to know? Talk to people as you're touring the community, as you see the residents out and about, ask them questions, but find somewhere that you really feel is just comfortable and that you don't feel like you're just settling. Senior living really has that stigma about it that people shy away from it because it's the fact that people are old, and that's not true. I mean, with how many options there are now and really the growing popularity of true senior living and active adult living, people really can truly be as active as they want to be. And then the main thing I really want people to take away is that no matter how old you are, you're never too old to pursue your passions. And that's really truly what active adult living is about. It offers a lifestyle and creates an experience like no other. It allows you to maintain independence, freedom, and really not feel like you're having to be taken care of or that you're being watched. It allows for people to travel, to create new groups of friends, find new hobbies, and just really have people to be around to enjoy things with. And most importantly, opportunity. No one can predict what tomorrow will bring, and no matter what plans you have for your life, there may be something that comes along and everything changes. So make decisions and pursue opportunities while you can, before these decisions are no longer yours. I've worked in a lot of different levels of senior living, and oftentimes, people move places because they have to. They no longer have that choice. But with active adult living, it's your choice to make. And you can be happy about that choice. So my job is to help people find what works for them. And active adult living, isn't for everybody, but you won't know unless you actually give it a try. And again, the best part about what I do is seeing the relationships that people build together, in our communities, and even some of the love connections. But knowing that we can provide an environment that people are proud to call home is really what active adult living is. So that is going to be the end of my presentation. Get out of here. And I will hand it back over to Lindsay.
Great. Thank you both so much, Holly and Anna. I know that there are some questions that will come up, so I think we'll just kind of dive right in. So the first one that came from the audience, and one that I do think is very important, of course, in the midst of COVID-19 and the pandemic. So are your facilities open for visitors right now?
Do you want me to go?
All right, I was on mute. Go ahead.
Speaking for our community, ours is currently open right now. So when everything hit, they had us close our office to the public. We did close all of our amenity spaces, even for all of our residents, just because we really wanted to make sure things were safe. We did slowly start getting back into the swing of things, and we opened all of our amenity spaces to just our residents. Usually, residents can utilize the spaces with friends and family. But right now it's just for resident use. And we prefer to obviously have tours by appointment, so that way we know when people are coming. But we can do walk-ins as well. We just need to make sure that we're spacing out times to be able to clean in between. So we're doing a lot of cleaning, but yes, we are open.
So it depends on the level of care for us. Initially, and I think probably like with Holly, all of our facilities were completely shut down when everything first hit. But particularly with the independent living, that's really opened up. And, unfortunately, it's also based on what the county is, the guidelines that they have. So we're working with that and the state. But right now our independents are pretty much open, not only to visitors, but they're restricted. I think just like what Holly said about Affinity is they have to go to their apartments, not in the common areas, just because then it would mean cleaning between each. So, but yes, absolutely. Cleaning is increased everywhere. And then for the assisted and skilled, I mean, this is what's been the national focus for a long time, since everything started. We were able to do outside visits through most of the summer, which was great. But now that the weather's turning, and the state has issued guidelines around indoor visits, but what the guidelines are can sometimes be very difficult to follow or be able to accommodate. It depends on what your indoor space looks like, because you want to limit how much the visitors are coming into the building. So do you have a space where they can meet that's near the door to be able to go in and out? So logistics and facility, the physical facility can make a difference. And also it depends on what the cases are within the county. Right now, they're not allowing indoor visits because the cases are so high, just like they are around the state and country have spiked. So it also depends on what the community circumstances are too.
So Anna, when you're updating those kinds of things, and of course, week to week, it can absolutely change.
Or day to day.
Right. Yeah. Day to day. Exactly. What's the best way, to look that up? Is it more on your website? Are you able to, send out any kind of updates?
We communicate directly with the families.
Okay.
By phone calls. All families are updated at least once a week by phone calls on the skilled side. And as much if there's changes with the assisted side. And just to back up, our company, CSU got a grant, and our company is working with CSU. They are doing weekly testing of all of our staff and residents that will participate. They have the choice of whether or not to participate. So, so we have that. But as far as the communication, if you're just wanting to get that information, I believe if there's any cases or anything like that, that is posted, I want to say, the county's website and the state's website. So that can be looked up on those websites if there's any cases. Now, as far as if there's any reduction or stoppage of visits because of the number of cases in the community, that again is posted on the county website.
Okay, great. So jumping into, finances, insurance, anything that kind of covers that for, and this will be a question for both of you as well. Is there somewhere there that people can go that breaks down kind of what the price is for each option available, or is it better to kind of, call and have a consultation? I know, of course, it's unique, but if somebody's just kind of trying to gather some information, and Anna, we can start with you.
Sure. So I think the best, as you mentioned, is to call each facility. Each facility has a different pricing, and even other companies too. That's going to be the same. So probably calling in and getting that information directly from the facility. I know that our website for our facilities will show all different options. They don't necessarily list the pricing because that can change, on a regular basis. So, so we made the decision to at least post what the different options are as far as rooms or what's included or not included on the website. But the actual pricing, you'll want to call facilities.
Okay.
And I'm sure other companies are the same way.
Holly, how about for Affinity?
Yep, I agree. So with ours does have the pricing. It has the starting out prices on our website, but again, things can differentiate, and our apartments are going to be priced differently. And there's differences if you have pets, because we are pet friendly. So there's pet rent involved. So I think it is important to call. I think it is helpful to log on to the website and really look through and see what the options are as far as floor plans and some of the community photos. And this is really for any apartment or 55 and over apartment community looking at the website, but it is going to be best to just call just because of the different circumstances and such. So definitely a phone call.
And I think, Holly, to add, I think what it also does is it allows you to have a conversation, because every facility, even within our system, is different. The cultures are different. So that gives you the opportunity to really ask, what's it really like, particularly when you may be limited about how much you can tour a facility. So to really be able to ask questions, to really get a feel and see how they're doing tours. Can they do it? Can they walk around with an iPhone and have the conversation while you're walking around and you ask questions, or is it something that's on their website? So I would really encourage calling directly.
Great. So we did have another question that came in from the audience as well. So Holly, for Affinity specifically, is it kind of like, apartment living just for 55 plus? So do you allow things like smoking? I know you said pets. So do you allow, any kind of pet? Is there a limit? Are you paying extra? Just those kinds of questions that come up.
Yep, definitely. So we are, and I hate phrasing it this way, but we really truly are just an apartment community. So all of our apartments have full kitchens, so microwave, stove, dishwasher, refrigerator, everything in the kitchen's going to be there, as well as a washer and dryer. So you don't have to worry about the communal laundry rooms, things like that. So it really truly is, you're living on your own. We are a non-smoking property, so you have to go completely off the premises to smoke. We are pet friendly. We do have a limit of 3 pets. Usually what we see is dogs, cats. We have a restricted breed list as well as some exotic animals. But for the most part, it's kind of the standard cat, dog. Because really for a lot of our residents, that's their fur puppies or fur children, I guess. And so we want to be able to continue with them as well. So, but really it's, you move here and the community staff is here to really assist and support, but we're not here to dictate what you do and watch when you come and go. It's really, we become your home.
Okay, great. Okay, so I did have a question that came up, Anna, as well, just for kind of the availability of, the patio living that you mentioned, or even the independent housing living. So when you touched on medical equipment and things that are available for people, are you able to be in a patio, home or anything like that and make those kinds of alterations if you needed extra assistance as far as a build in the home? Or are you a little bit restricted as far as what's available for that?
So as far as like grab bars, having toilet risers, and other equipment, yes, absolutely. In fact, many, whether it's the patio home or the independent living, they have those already installed, at least in, the basic kind of, or makes sense kind of places.
Uh-huh.
So yes, and then if that need to be modified based on, the physical therapist or occupational therapist recommendation, absolutely, we can make those happen.
Great.
I think where, and I would say patio homes are generally built to be accommodations for those types of situations, whether you may have a wheelchair or a walker or something like that. I know our patio homes were built that way, but they're much newer. And then I think with other patio homes, particularly if you rent or even own, whether you need a ramp, if you need a ramp like from the garage into the home or things like that, I think those can definitely be done. In our independent living, you're in an apartment building situation. So within your apartment, you can make accommodations that are needed. Now, what may be limiting is because some buildings may be older, like if you have a wheelchair, the doorway may not be big enough.
Okay.
So things like that, where whether it's our company or some other company that you're looking at is to, and if that's something that you need, you absolutely want to ask about that. Is it wheelchair accessible?
Hmm. Great. And so too, just to kind of build off of that a little bit, as far as the therapy options go, so are those kind of services available with same thing, the assisted living, the independent living, or is it more just that memory care and rehab options that you were talking about?
I'll answer. So that's covered under Medicare. So it wherever you are living, whether
Okay.
it's through the whole continuum of care, you have access to therapy. And whether that it's coming in your home, whether you do it outpatient, so you go somewhere for therapy, or whether they're coming to you at a skilled facility, assisted living, independent living, it can be there too.
Hmm. Great. And so this next one that came in, Holly, this one's going to be for you and Affinity as well. So are all the activities on your properties specifically? So I know you mentioned, that there's activities and, the pet options and whatnot. So is it more like on your facility or is it more like they have to drive to get there, for example? Is it that kind of independence?
So it's kind of a mix. So
Okay.
our specific residents here put together an activity calendar every month. They meet monthly to discuss what they want on for the next month. All of the activities have like a resident leader or a group or club leader that kind of pushes that group forward, and then people can join as they want. The best part is, like, say if someone is super into quilting, they can start a quilting club, or if someone loves playing Rummikub, they can even start a group or a poker club. Like there's so many opportunities for people to really just kind of dive in and do everything they want.
Mhm.
So the majority of our activities, I would say, are on site. However, there are some, like for example, we have a group of, it's the Romeos and the Juliettes. So it's the Romeos, stands for really old men eating out. So they get together on a monthly basis and go out to eat. And then same thing with the Juliettes, it's the women's version. So there's those. I know they've done planned outings to Black Hawk. They've gone out to movies. We've actually taken some of our residents to some Eagles games. So there's really, it's a wide mix. And because residents can really come and go as they please, they can do a spur of the moment trip somewhere. So it's really whatever they want to do. And they just get to utilize all of our spaces to do that.
Great. Awesome. Okay, so this next one, going back to Anna really quick as well. So as far as, the assisted living and, the memory care and whatnot, what does the communication with the family look like? As a family member who's staying at any kind of Columbine health system location, are there like doctors or nurses or counselors or anything actively communicating with the family, or does the family have to kind of be the one to reach out? What's that look like?
It's both. It's a two-way street. So if there are things, if something is going on with their loved one, a change in conditions, so something acute's going on, or there's a need, then the staff is absolutely communicating with the family. And then, and if something's going on medically, and at the assisted living level, and we have those providers, the nurse practitioner may be reaching out to the family directly too, just giving them an update, telling them what's happening. These are the options. What decision do we need to make? So there is that active communication. And then, if there's something, as the loved one is communicating with the family member, because of course they're communicating on their own.
Of course, right.
and there's something expressed, then the family member absolutely can reach out to the staff and say what that is. And there are regular care conferences, whether it's every 3 months, every 6 months, depending on where they're at. So those are also opportunities to just kind of say, hey, this is what's been going on. Are we taking care of your loved one the way that we should? Do we need to make adjustments? So there's always communication going on. Awesome.
And I know, of course, it's most likely, excuse me, unique as far as case by case basis, but are people still allowed to be making their own decisions, or is the family allowed to say, hey, we need to be in, like, any changes or anything have to go through us, kind of thing? Because I know sometimes that comes up.
So that's absolutely case by case. So, and as you're on the lower levels of care, so independent living, and even to the point of assisted living, and can even be in skilled, it just depends on what the situation is. The resident may be making their own decisions, and that's who the staff is talking to and working with. They may ask that somebody be informed, but that's not necessarily who's making the decisions. But we also have cases where the person can make those decisions, but they don't want to make them. They want their family member to do that. And so there's not only communication with the residents to make sure that they understand what's happening, but we also then include those whatever family members that they want involved to be part of that decision making. I mean, there's a whole spectrum when it comes to who's making decisions and how we work with those situations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So our next question looks like for Holly over at with Affinity. So my parents are fairly independent right now. So with the 55 and better community, what happens if their needs begin to change? And then, so if you could elaborate just a little bit on any recommendations or what you guys currently do.
Sure. So due to fair housing, we can't really push people down a certain road. So even if someone were to come to our community and say, I can probably do better in assisted living, but I want to try this out, we can't say, well, we think you need assisted living. Really, we're open to everybody. Our regulations, 55 and over is our main thing. So we see this a lot with people. They'll move in and they kind of get to that point where they start needing some of that care. And again, those are those things that can be brought in by outside services. So we have a handful of residents that do utilize home health services, people that come in the morning and assist them in getting dressed or help with those activities of daily living, like Anna was saying. So there's those sorts of options. A lot of our people, we see a lot of the deliveries come through of the prepped meals, like Freshly and Home Chef and those sorts of things. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of options when it comes to that. And then again, we understand we're not always going to be the best option for people. So while we want people to age in place with us, we totally understand that people may need that extra push along the way. So if they have to leave our community due to a specific reason, we work with them in that and their doctors and, in determining what's going to be that next best option for them. We would love to have them stay with us and utilize those services, but we can sit down and talk about those options when that's needed.
Great. Okay, so also we had a question come in from the audience as well. So Holly, do you have a woodworking workshop?
We do. So we actually have about 30,000 square feet of amenity spaces. So yeah, we have an indoor heated pool and spa. We have a fitness center. We have a workshop. All of that's enclosed in our pool house. And then in our main building here, we have a movie theater, internet cafe, a library. We have a game room, a craft room, a billiards room, a card room. We have a pub. It's called Dilly Dally's Pub. So lots of different spaces for residents to be able to use.
Awesome. So as far as memory care goes, Anna, so you mentioned insurance, and Medicaid, parts of those kind of cover certain aspects of memory care, but do you accept veterans benefits by chance?
We do to some extent. So we can have people that have, that whether it's a supplement to their Medicare. Sorry, I'm trying to think of all the, because there's lots of different benefits with the veterans.
Oh, okay, so that was kind of it's a broad,
yeah,
very broad.
It's a pretty broad. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it simple. So if they have, if they have a supplement to their insurance, absolutely, as long as we have a contract with that insurance.
Okay.
And that's true of any insurance.
Mhm.
And as far as if they receive other benefits, usually that's directly to the individual. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I don't know if I answered that very well.
That's okay. I know it's super broad and it is it gets a little confusing for sure.
Right, right.
So it looks like that's all the questions that I had, and it looks like that's all of the questions that we also had from the audience as well. So I just wanted to say one more time to both Anna and Holly, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I think one of the biggest things that we learned today is, for your family and for people who, whether it's yourself or somebody that you're considering as far as aging, it's important to start those conversations, have those conversations, do the research, and so I know that both Columbine Health Systems and Affinity at Loveland, their website information can be found also on our website where you registered for this webinar. So this webinar is also being recorded. If you know of anybody who, might benefit from hearing this information, you wanted to share it with somebody or anything like that, you can also do that through our website. So that is going to be www.northerncolorado55better.com. And so, yeah, I encourage you, check out their websites and see the amenities that they have to offer. And then if you have any questions, like they said, they have a lot of different touring options, as well as people who you can communicate and call. So thank you so much, both of you. We will be back tomorrow for another webinar. So same time, same channel. With that being said, stay warm. I know here in the Northern Colorado area, we're getting snow right now, so stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.